Got y'all situated. Hi, everyone. Keels with the Crescent Light Club. Great to see you guys. I am live from right outside the Red Frog Pub. It's a cool little beer rum bar here on deck 5 of the Carnival Magic. Right behind me, you can see Nassau. Today we are in port in Nassau, and I thought I would take a chance to kind of answer some questions and talk a little bit about the experience so far. So this is day 3. We have one more day tomorrow, and that is in Bimini, which is a very beachy destination here on the Bahamas. And I opted not to get off the ship today in Nassau, just to take this as more of like another sea day. I don't know if you guys can kind of see it in the background, but the whole port of Nassau, if you've ever stopped here before on a cruise, is completely under construction. So in the near future, there will be a much larger new port here in Nassau. The straw market is, some of it still remains, but most of it is pretty much gone. Um, but you can still see the bright colors and all the palm trees. It is definitely a hot one here in Nassau today. So I'm just going to kind of go through. I had some questions that people already posted on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm going to talk through those. But if you guys are watching, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the chat, and I will do my best to answer all of them. So, like I said, you can kind of see the, I'll move it up just a little bit so you guys can see the beautiful backdrop here in Nassau. So like I said, I'm on the Carnival Magic. This is the return to sailing for this ship. So it's her very first voyage out of dry dock. And since the entire cruising industry shut down in March of last year, so far everything has been really, really great. No real issues to speak of. It's a very laid back experience. So you definitely can make what you want of it here on the Carnival Magic. Um, we are sailing at greatly reduced capacity. I would say maybe 40 to 50%, if that. Max people 900 to 1,000. People were asking about children on board. So this is a 95% vaccinated cruise. 100% of the crew members are vaccinated. That's 95% of the guests. We did have to show proof of vaccination to board the ship. Um, and the only exemptions for non-vaccinated were issued to children. And I would have to say so far, I've heard comments of how many unvaccinated guests were on board, and children, I would say less than 50. It is very few and far between. You don't see a whole lot of them around the ship compared to previous sailings and previous cruise voyages. So that's been very interesting. Also the kids clubs for under the age of 12, so under the vaccination age, aren't opened at all. And children, to leave the ship, if they're unvaccinated, they have to go on what's called bubble cruises, and there are bubble excursions. And there's not a whole lot of those to be had at this point in time. But I wanted to go back to what we were saying, is this is very much kind of whatever experience you want to make it. If you're feeling overwhelmed by crowds, there are plenty of places, especially on the ship, to go hide. Like I'm sitting at this cool little it's actually under a canopy. It's a table with 2 bench chairs that kind of rocks back and forth like a porch swing. So it's a really, really fun location. Now we are masked. So in any indoor areas, and when you go to sit down to eat, you have to wear a mask. And then once you sit down, you can take it off. And most people seem to be very much adhering to that rule. Later in the evening, as the drinks are flowing, people do kind of take a little leeway, but that is, most people are following along with that. I have seen a little bit of enforcement in the Showtime Theater and the Comedy Lounge. They make a lot of announcements before the show starts that please put your mask on. You can pull it down to sip, but then put it back up. They make repeated announcements about that. So if you guys were concerned about that, that's the rule there. I will say I was a little bit more hesitant about what it would be like, and so far it hasn't really bugged me. You don't have to wear it outdoors. You don't have to, wear them in the pool because it's really hot with a mask on, obviously. But you don't have to worry about any of that. So if that is something that's holding you back from thinking about a cruise vacation, I wouldn't let that bother you in the slightest. And so, like I said, and I mentioned on this in our sailor video, that we did have to show proof of vaccination. So at 3 separate points during our embarkation process, we were asked for our vaccination cards. Now, no pictures were ever taken of them. I know people have been speculating and talking about what's the process. Do they take pictures of your vaccination card and all that? No, they did not take a picture. They did not record anything. People just kind of gave it the ocular inspection and then just went on with that. Give me just 1 second and let's see if I can pull up this picture. I don't let me do that. Anyway, so if that's how the vaccination card process goes, you will be asked to see it. There's no kind of, where would it buffer? Come on, internet. All right, I'm back. So no, you're just asked to present it. People will take a look at it, and then you move on in the traditional process. So now I went over all that in my Sailor video. So now I'm going to talk more about the experience on board. I'm sorry, I'm going to talk a little bit louder. There's, like I said, the port is under construction, so you can hear quite a bit of the construction in the background. Yesterday was Half Moon Cay. That is the private island that is owned by Carnival and Pond America. Visit there and maybe Princess of some sort. I will say it is absolutely idyllic. We did not get to the island until around noon, so we waited, even though we had an excursion, which basically meant I rented beach chairs with a clam shell cover. We could have been one of the first people off the ship, but we opted to sleep in and then go a little bit later. There was a mad rush at 8 to get off the ship. It is a tender port, so you will have to take a water shuttle. It's not somewhere where you dock like here in Nassau. You can just get off and walk around the ship or walk straight off the ship to where you're going. So factor that in if you're making plans for Half Moon Cay. We just took loungers. We bought our snorkel gear and kind of got all the kinks worked out with our snorkeling gear and procedures because tomorrow in Bimini is our big excursion day, our big snorkel day. We're going to go see the Sapona shipwreck and a snorkel with some sharks. So we wanted to make sure that we had everything all ready. We didn't need to do anything else. I do have to find someone on the ship with a screwdriver because I forgot to unscrew my GoPro from the mount in the box. So I will have snorkeling footage on my video from Half Moon Cay. Don't make fun of me. I was having to hold the camera in my hand, but I promise for tomorrow I will have my handle for it. Snorkeling, the water was crystal clear. You guys will see in the videos the sand is pure white. I didn't see a whole lot of fish, but the cool thing, I saw horseshoe crabs and lots of sand dollars and other like blue clawed crabs. The waves were great. The water was the perfect temperature. All in all, it was a perfect day to get ready and kind of our snorkel legs going. Now, because we didn't get off the ship until noon, by the time we made our way over to the beach area, right where we were set up, it was right by the one buffet. The buffet for lunch on the island goes from 11 until 1. And when we walked by it, it looked crazy, crazy crowded. And we kind of decided that, this trip, we're going to avoid crowds as much as possible, just because, it's nature of the beast. And so we decided to opt out on that. We weren't super hungry. Actually, all in all, it worked out perfect. So I will tell you, it seems like a lot of this cruise, everyone wanted to get to the island as fast as possible. And then after lunch, the island really, really cleared out. So we left at 3:45. We were on the last water shuttle back to the ship. So basically, we spent about 3.5 hours between snorkeling and then going to the shipwreck bar, and it was fantastic. I've posted some pictures on our Instagram if you guys want to check those out. All in all, oh my gosh, I would say the only thing that is keeping me from ranking Half Moon Cay above Disney's Castaway Cay as my favorite private island is the water shuttle. I don't like tendering. I hate tendering. I prefer not to do it if I don't have to. So that's only reason that I'm still keeping Castaway Key as my top preferred private island. So again, if you guys are just tuning in, greetings from Nassau. You kind of see a little bit of the construction of the new port in the background. Look at that blue sky and those puffy cotton candy clouds. I'm just here answering any kind of Q&A, any questions you may have about the Carnival Magic, Carnival's return to sailing, different protocols, just kind of giving you guys an idea of how everything is going on this return to sailing so far. It's been great. I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm sad that tomorrow is our last day, but that also means we've got 2 really full nights left ahead of us. So that's been fun. So I'm going to start going through some questions that I got on Instagram and Facebook. If you guys are watching live and you have a question about return to sailing, or anything that's going on in any of the ports or here on the Carnival Magic or just Carnival in general or the cruise industry in general, just drop them in the chat and I will get to them. So the first question I had was from someone on Instagram, and they were curious about table assignments in the main dining room. And so this is funny. I was reading, and just my speculation, that was because of COVID guidelines and different things, is that in most cases they wouldn't seat you with mixed parties. So if you were a party of 2, you would be at a table of 2. One of my favorite things about cruising is the opportunity to be seated with other people and meet new friends that have similar interests. And that is always one of my most favorite things. It's a while since we've had a table that we haven't been able to form like kind of a ship friendship and stuff with. So when I heard that this was going to be kind of the process, we decided to mix it up and actually go and book the steakhouse on the very first night, which if you guys have seen my Instagram story or the Crescent Light Club Instagram stories, I posted videos of our steakhouse dinner and the dessert. So that was great. The second night, which was Elegant Night, we decided to go eat in the main dining room, just as tradition on a cruise ship. And it turned out we were seated with other people. So essentially, there's a group of 4 and the 2 of us, and we're seated in the 8 top. So you can have basically a section of 2 seats in between you. But for those of you who are hoping to be seated with new people to make new friends, have dinner conversation, yes, you will be seated with other people unless you specifically request not to be seated with people. And so I know that's kind of a big deal for people. So there's that. Main dining room, I know people have been asking how's the service, how is the speed, how is the food, how is everything else. So far we have not had any issues with dining time, service time. Your main dining room experience is coming in at right around an hour to an hour and a half, and that's for 3 courses, cocktails, all of that. I will say, as someone with a newly diagnosed shellfish allergy, it is really important to mention that you have an allergy. Don't expect that everything that you fill out online gets conveyed to everybody on board the ship. So it is really important if you have something like an intolerance or an allergy to mention it. It's no big deal. They are happy to oblige with that. So just remember that. The menu has been great. All of our food has been spot on. I'm excited for tonight. It is more of like an Italian themed menu. We were trying to the menus every day and to see if, because I want to squeeze in the Italian restaurant for dinner one night. I haven't been able to find a time just perfect just yet to work that in. Hopefully it will happen maybe tomorrow night. So that's how everything, but our service has been great. It's your same traditional staff. If you have a cocktail server and your main server and assistant, last night we got to meet both the maitre d' and the assistant maitre d', and they're both fantastic. And yes, the lovely Alan comes around with shots for everybody. If that is something that you're interested in, or if that is one of your favorite memories, favorite times from a cruise, yes, post dinner shots in the commemorative or the little special shot glasses are still available. Okay, I've got a question from Buddy. Curious, are you able to get your training runs in on the ship for Dopey? So I am not doing Dopey. I am signed for the 10.5, but there is a jogging track up on the 14th level, which is the sport deck, and I have seen people out there running. This would be a really good question to ask Ryan. I'm sure I could send him videos of what the ocean looks like, and he could go and run while he listens to those. So yes, if you are interested in trying to continue a workout regimen, there is a gym on here. You are able to use the gym. There's treadmills and there is a jogging track. And also you can get off the ship and you can run. Now here in Nassau, you have to wear a mask and you have to have your proof of vaccination if you want to go in anywhere. So it's up to you to decide if you want to run or tour around outside. I wouldn't do it because it's really hot, but yes, you can still try and get your training runs in, especially if you are signed up for an upcoming Run Disney race. So thank you for the question, buddy. All right, let's see. So the next question is from someone on Facebook, and they're asking how I feel the value is for this cruise. So I always feel the value on a cruise for me is almost always there. I like the opportunity to get away, to wake up in a different place every day, to only have to unpack once, not to have to fly a whole bunch. I will tell you, it's going to be really hard for me to go back to a cruise that is at traditional capacity. It has been really, really nice to not be surrounded by people, to have plenty of little enclaves and spaces to go and just enjoy reading a book and a cocktail. And you don't have to line up to or race to get a seat for the shows or the comedy club, 30 minutes before. So that's been really, really nice. I feel that the value is definitely still there for a cruise vacation if that's something you're looking for. Now, if you're a family with unvaccinated children under the age of 12, I think the value may be completely different. And if you do want to take a cruise vacation, the two lines you should probably look at are going to be Disney Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean. Disney Cruise Line, absolutely, because they're requiring masks for everyone. There's no vaccination restriction, and everything for the most part is operating status quo with exceptions of reduced kids club time and character meets. Same goes for Royal Caribbean. I think their kids club time is a little bit more lenient than Disney Cruise Line. Like I said, here the only clubs are the Tween Club and the Teen Club, so only organized activities for children over the age of 12. And they are assumed to be vaccinated on this ship. So that's that. I have some people who are asking about the Cheers program. Yes, the Cheers drink package is being offered on this ship. And so you can see I've got my little Cheers sticker. And so for those who asked, I think this question came from Instagram, the Cheers package, everyone who is of age in your room has to have the package. And that is $59.95 per person per day, and that's inclusive of gratuities. Now, Carnival's a little bit different. You can only have 15 drinks per day, and that starts at 6 a.m. and it resets at 6 a.m. the next day. So you need to pace yourself. Half Moon Cay, you cannot use your drink package there. So you pay out of pocket for all the drinks that you get on Half Moon Cay. So that's going to be like $15 for a pina colada or a margarita, but they do beer bucket specials and cooler specials for beers. They do not check your bags when you leave the ship to go onto Half Moon Cay. So if you feel like your day at sea, you may not have consumed as many beers as you would have had on your Cheers package, you can always take a couple back to your stateroom clothes and then just throw them in your bag to take on the island the next day. Just remember that you have to take 5 minutes between on the Cheers package. And so that's how that works. So, again, if you guys are watching, thanks for checking in. We are live from the port of Nassau here in the Bahamas. I am on day 3 of a 5-day cruise on the Carnival Magic. It's the return to sailing for this particular ship out of dry dock. We're calling it like her re-inaugural as part of Carnival's return to sailing. Like I showed earlier, for those of you familiar with cruising, the port of Nassau is under a pretty large construction project. So you can see the old straw market is gone. Sharky's Pub is still there. I think in the distance you can probably, let's see if I can turn it to see Senior Frogs. But you guys can kind of see everything. So yeah, if you've got a question, feel free to drop it in the chat and I will do my best to answer it. I'm just going through a couple pre-questions that I had from people on Facebook and Instagram. Also, if you guys, I'm going to try and go live from Bimini tomorrow. So be sure to hit that red subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube, or hit the bell notification so you'll know when we're able to go live from the rest of the ship, from the rest of this cruise. You know, it is the islands. We're on island time. The internet is definitely on island time. So just trying to get as much information out to you guys as I can. So I'm going to take a break for a second, and you guys can just take a look at the beautiful port of Nassau. All right, and I'm back. So another question that I had was sailing, how I feel, safety. I've talked about the masking protocols. I've talked about how everything is kind of going on. I absolutely feel safe. I've been to Disney and Universal quite a bit, especially since I became fully vaccinated. And most recently, since I am staying in Florida for the latter part of July and this first part of August. And to be honest, I feel much safer here on the cruise ship than I could anywhere else. And I'm sure it's just the concept of knowing that all the crew, and so all the crew is always fully masked regardless of where they are. So I think it's that, knowing that they're masked and they're vaccinated, and then also knowing that almost all of the passengers on board are vaccinated is kind of a nice feeling. And then you see all the cleanliness protocols. There are way more people going around and cleaning things, especially waiting for the water shuttles yesterday to tender back and forth from Moon Cay. You would see everyone unload, and then one of the staff members would go and spray down all of the benches and everything. So absolutely, if I feel like if cruising is something that you like to do and you're fully vaccinated and you need a getaway, not only are there so many deals out there for a cruise vacation, but I think it really kind of give you a great peace of mind, as if just being out here, look at those clouds, look at that sky, and look at that blue water isn't enough, to just kind of push you over the edge. I definitely feel very, very safe. My traveling companion, Mr. Worldwide, was more nervous than I was, and I think he is finding it even more relaxing than he expected. So like I said, we're cruising at about 40% capacity on this ship. If I had to guess, between 900 and 1,000 total guests. The only time that it seemed really crowded, so to speak, was the very first night in the comedy club with Thea Vidal. But you are spaced out. They ask everyone to wear a mask unless you are actively drinking. We went to Deal or No Deal last night, which was super fun. I wish I'd bought a card to play along. And the theater was pretty full, but not at max capacity. The only time you really got to see everybody together in one big bunch was when we were sailing, when we were tendering into Half Moon Cay. And even then, there were plenty of loungers to be had. There's been plenty of loungers on the Lido deck at all of the pools. The pools have been pretty empty for the most part. I think there was about 5 people in the Tides pool, which is at the very aft of the ship early today. So I thought, if I'm going to be in the pool, today is the day to do it. So, now this port day, I decided to not get off the ship here in Nassau and instead talk to you guys and answer some questions. So that's what I'm doing. But yes, if you're worried about safety protocols, just how everything is going on the ship, it's been really, really great. It's far exceeded my expectations. for safety in cruising during the pandemic, which I know is a crazy thing to think about. So I have one more question that I'm going to answer that comes from someone on Facebook, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said, I will try to go live from Bimini tomorrow and give you guys kind of a lay of the land at Bimini, also because it is a brand new port stop this cruising season, and we can thank Virgin Voyages for that. So the island of Bimini has created a large enough cruise port for massive cruise liners like the Carnival Magic and other ships to actually port in Bimini. So we will be touring the Sapona shipwreck and snorkeling in the reef out there. And then we'll be spending our afternoon at Resorts World, Bimini Resort. I'm hoping their internet is good enough so I can stream. But I was asked on Facebook if we have another cruise coming up, and the answer is yes. One, two, and I will be cruising on the Carnival Mardi Gras on October 2nd, and I couldn't be more excited. If you guys watched our sail away video, we got to sail out right past the Mardi Gras, and she's impressive, absolutely impressive. So definitely going to do that. And then I'm hoping to jump on either the Glory or the Valor out of New Orleans this fall, because one of my favorite things is cruising down the Mississippi River to get to the Gulf. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with one last view of the port here in Nassau. Again, if you're watching, thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit bell notifications so you know exactly when I'm going live tomorrow from Bimini. Like I said, internet's been a little spotty, but I will have videos of everything that we've done on the ship uploaded to our Crescent Lake Club YouTube channel, and I'll be posting on our Instagram and our Instagram stories and our Facebook with more experiences. And don't forget, don't hesitate. If you have any questions, hit us up on social media. I'm happy to help you out, happy to let you know what's going on. But for me, that's it for this live today. Have a good one, y'all.